Alright guys, so ready to start the tutorials on the cab module and the front clip module, which together those make up the stage 1 kit, but you can buy them separately. So if you got a body like this or a used body, don't matter. Um, this here is the cab module. So it's going to consist of a set of doors. I wasn't watching. So that's passenger side, driver side doors. Of course, I'll have this already prepped for you. Um, so you won't have to worry about breaking them out. I'll do that as they come off the printer, and then your window frames, and then there's a template for cutting that out of Lexan, and then of course there's this piece of Lexan to cut those out of, and then you'll have the window template, your firewall, and your cab floor pan, and then the part structure that prints in. I ship that with it, and that's to create your ASA slurring. That's basically you're going to be your glue. Although that's really we're going to weld this to the RC4WD body and make them one together. So it's not really a glue bond. It's actually a chemical weld, and then you'll get a preset of trim that goes with the kit. And then if you opt to do the full stage 1 kit, then you'll get the front clip module, which will consist of your radiator support, and then you'll have a card with all your components to build your front end, right? And then also a your hood support, which is basically your magnet holder. And I don't know what's going on there, but apparently I got a leak in that. So, but we're gonna tackle the cab module first. Doesn't matter. I mean, if you wanted to buy just the front clip module, you don't need to do the cab. You can do the front clip module without doing the cab. And then the firewall will be available for purchase independently because this comes with a cab kit. It's a requirement to section the front clip because this is your means to or you're gonna fuse this to your front clip so that it can be removed from the cab core. So you can get that and then just do your front clip, and then you can leave this all together. You don't have to do the cab. So you have options there. You just want to make sure that people know that. All right, so I'm gonna set this aside and also the front clip module side because we're gonna do the doors first. Now, of course, this stuff here, we're gonna also do that post process. So the focus for here is just gonna be doing the putting that cab floor in and doing up your doors. All right, so basically I'm gonna undo these doors or undo the supports and these. Probably either do it off camera. Yeah, I don't want to waste your time doing this. So I'm gonna do that off camera, and then I also gotta get some snips to cut the doors out, and that's like the first thing that we're gonna do is section this cab up, prep it for the cab floor. So I'm gonna go get that stuff done, and then we'll be right back. All right, guys. So I got my shears here. These are tin snips. And then I went ahead and prepped the doors like they're supposed to be in the kit, which I forgot to do before I went on camera. All right, so basically to install this, we gotta section this guy up, cut the doors out. So, I actually haven't tried this method yet, but I'm thinking I'm gonna have to do it in two stages. I'm gonna kind of cut the center out so that because the way these work is it kind of peels the the two sides apart, and if it's all connected, it ain't gonna want to work. So we're gonna try to do this in the center. You may have to. So that's as far as I can really get. All right. So use a pair of pliers for that if you had to. It's pretty tough. All right. All right. So because we're gonna cut this right here, I'm not gonna snip all the way up here. I'm gonna take a shortcut, right? So I'm gonna go right about on the body line. So got that part off. All right. So now I'm gonna stay about a quarter inch away from the door seam here. And I'm gonna trim that off. All right. Now I got a pair of side snips, and now I'm gonna try to trim this a little bit closer. All right. So now I'm gonna go to these guys, and right here I'm gonna go straight with it. See how the door kind of curves this way? Right here, though, I'm gonna go straight down. And I'm actually gonna cut away. You can always cut more off, if you're not close enough. And I'm bite that out of there. All right, so now I'm gonna go right along that seam. And I'm not actually going all the way through yet. Just kind of, I guess, scribing it. And these guys actually work pretty good too. Just do a little bit at a time. Kind of break it out. And this here, you can pretty much All right, so now I'm gonna work my way out this way. So this is probably the better tool. So I really should have my glasses on. What are you chewing on? Yeah, definitely. Should have had my glasses on. All right, so now right there's that boss. So I'm gonna try to cut them out. Screw boss. I don't know what we call it. I'm gonna just kind of cut that flush. Right, so now I'm gonna go to a round file, half moon file. Right, and you can take that right out. So once I do the other side, I'll go through and smooth it with file, and then you're done. All right, so do the same thing over here on this side. Cut to the window. I'm gonna try not to. If it's showing white and stressing this, you want to try not to do that. But if you do, it's not a big deal. I'm gonna sand it out. And this side's a little harder because it's contoured the opposite of the other side. All right, so I'm gonna try to trim this a little closer. Alright, I'm gonna cut them bosses out before I get here this time. I like trying to snip them off as flush as I can, and the better you can get it on the first try, the easier it is to get it. Once they're kind of cut like a stump, then you gotta pretty much sand it out. You be quiet. Alright, so now I'm just gonna kind of get this flat. You just pay attention to where the corners are. It actually might be better to section because you see how that front clip's doing that as I'm doing this. All right, so I got the one side pretty much roughed in. All right, so now we're gonna cut the fender, and basically what we're gonna do is like if you had your hood, it's actually best to put your hood on here and go from the corner to where this gutter thing ends. Like I said in the other video, it's not supposed to be there, but we're gonna fix that. Two, we're also gonna fix the roof real quick. But just to kind of show you. So right where that ends to just below the uh the weather stripping for the windshield. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna use one of these saws here. I actually don't know what these are. Scroll saw? I don't know, but that's roughly an eighth of an inch thick blade, or height wise anyway. Uh it's probably about, well, I'd say a 30 thousandths. But anyways, I'm gonna cut right along that line. I guess it doesn't really matter um where you actually cut that. What matters is both sides are the same. And if you notice, I'm kind of like on a 45 degree. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go until my blade is just about fully sunk in. And it doesn't take long. I need to get maybe a better light over here. Okay, so oh, let me see if I can get got a flashlight handy. Of course not. Hold on. That light. You gotta adjust the frame rate or something. But like I said, it's kind of like working on a mirror. Okay, so I hope you can see that. All right, so now on the inside, we're gonna go from right in this corner, right where that slot is. You're gonna go right to the corner to the side of the fender, and then you're gonna go um to where the windshield pillar comes down. So basically, from that corner to right here, right, and then you're gonna go try to cut it straight, so you can kind of see what I got there, right? Hey, and you're gonna want to support this. Don't break it. Just take your time. So you got this thickness of here. You want to maintain that. Need to. You can put some little tape under here. Just see what you're doing too. All right, so I'm close enough now. I can pretty much just break it out of there. So got that side done. So that's what that looks like. You want kind of like because like on a real truck, that where that pillar ends, it kind of curves in. That's what you're kind of after. So probably should tape this one off the same way. All right. So we got that. So we're pretty much done with this until we do the firewall. So I'm that aside. So now we'll do this side and then truck the roof. I guess that's pretty much an optional thing. But it's pretty the first time I've tried it after sectioning. So we'll see how that goes. I'm dropping all kinds of stuff. But we're pretty much done with that. And these. These may still come in handy. But I'm gonna go ahead and kind of clean up this cut area. Key thing here is all you're trying to do is make the two sides match. There's no target. I am leaving just a fudge, because like I said, I can always take off more if I need to, but I'm just gonna leave just a little bit. But I'm just making it even. We're making it even as you can, and I'm not gonna really. Once it's all painted and everything, and I go over it, I'm not gonna see this anyway. I don't want to leave too much though, because there are gonna be other parts that you may want to put in here. And kind of do your corners first, because you can bring everything to the corners easier than you can, like if you do your flats and then bring your quarters to the flats. And keep your file moving. Don't just go in one spot. Kind of try to get the blend. And see how flat I am to the roof line. Okay, so now I'm gonna cut this off. It's right where the corner is. Like if you were to draw a line straight back from the top of that's about where that starts. This is the tricky part. We're getting them the same. The easiest way is with a file. Oh, dog's a lot bad air. The other thing, is it's a little too much. I'm gonna experiment later with completely taking that out and 3D printing rubber or TPU windshield molding. Alright, so now I'm gonna kind of brown that over now. So now I just gotta flatten that a little bit, and we'll be golden. So what I'm gonna do, get some hand clamps. Oh, you guys have been moved around. Another way to do it is get a board and kind of go across. But what I'm gonna do is get a heat gun and heat that up. So that's pretty. If you can't keep your hand on there, that's plenty hot. You don't want to go much more than that. Let it cool. It worked pretty good. All right. So now, um, yeah, you're gonna need a set of hinges. I'll leave a link in the description where to get these, but I get them on Amazon. They're for Tamiya utility trailer or something. Um, right now they're kind of on back order. They take about a month to ship, and then they do come with screws, but I don't generally use them. I think the holes for my kit are too big. So you're gonna want to install those. Plus, you'll have actually an extra set. Could do your tailgate. They come 6 in a pack. Now what I do my glasses. So now we're gonna focus on this guy. Oh, there is more work that we gotta do to this. Um, but since I started working on doors, we'll go to the door. So we're gonna jump around here. Hey, be quiet. And then the magnets that you'll need are 3/8 diameter by 1/8 thickness. Yeah, these are too small. Grab it. Now I always put the bigger hinge on the door, and then the smaller side goes to the cab. And that's how it is on a real one as well. And it does make a difference. So if you have misalignment, that's something that you can try is reversing that. And I kind of pin these together to crooked it at all. I try to fix that. Where kind of having the magnets installed kind of helps hold the door in place. Don't put it. I'm trying to pressure on this um that pillar. Put your finger behind there so you don't break it. Dang it. That's weird how one side is different from the other. But what I'll probably end up doing is shimming this out anyway. So I'm not concerned about that because that'll get fixed later. Right. Alright, so now they got this snipped off. Alright, so now when you I'm gonna put a straight edge on that and I'm gonna bring that draw a line and bring that straight up. Alright, so I just bring that up. So now what I'm gonna do, I gotta find my calipers. I'm gonna open these up to 200 thousandths. That's right. And go straight across that like that. And now I'm gonna cut this section out. Let's see here. And the fastest way to do that is probably a Dremel, but this will be a viable or not. So, actually, it worked all right. Then I'm gonna see if this guy fits in here, and as long as it comes to the top or it goes past it, you're golden and centered as well. So I'm good there. So that's done. So now should probably get rid of some of the junk. All right, so now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna kind of tape the doors in place. The fine tuning will come in later. I don't like hearing cracking noises. That ain't good. And then be careful of this lip right here because this can break. Once this is glued together, then it'll become much more have a lot more integrity. Okay, so now you see how it kind of comes down in the back, but you just want to kind of line your door, and then make sure that this is good and tight. That's good. So I'm gonna do and two steps. First step is doing the front, and then if you got some three and three probably by and 3 by 10 screws, you could use them to help kind of clamp this in place. And then to make your slurry, you're just gonna need some acetone and your ASA or the remnant of this. I've already got some made, so I don't need to do that. But I need a stir stick. And probably a new paintbrush. It's probably about the thickness of more like a 30 weight motor oil. Now you could just use straight up acetone. I don't know if that'd be strong enough. You don't need to sand this or anything. Alright, so I'm gonna grab a paintbrush, cranking me on. We will destroy. Alright, so I'm gonna apply it to both sides. I'm gonna try to get this where that kind of meets the A-pillar. Get that face. Don't worry about going along the top there, but just these pads right here. Try not to glue your door. Now I'm gonna apply some here. Now I'm gonna do the same thing, but on this side, and where these meet, they meet kind of like right in here. So that's what you're gonna get that pad. Hey, stop that. All right, so now I've got some things that I think I used before. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and put these screws in, and then I'm gonna pinch it downwards, and then also I'm gonna pinch this firewall in. But first, I'm gonna use the screws. And of course, the screwdriver I need is not. It's right in front of me. This one actually screwed down better than the last one. But I don't know if I can get these smaller things in them. And you'll see it kind of squish out. And that's what you want to see. Where the other hand can't quite go, and don't do too much though. See it squeezing. Oh, I see it squeezing a little bit. And I want to get it. It's pushing down good and even. All right, so now I'm gonna lock everything back down. That's pretty much it for right now. Once this is cured, I give it probably about an hour, and that's usually good enough. You can take the clamps off, and then we can go switch to the back. Get that in, get the doors in, but you see it's good and tight. And it's actually what we want to see. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna bring this side up. Once we get to this part, we're gonna raise that to make our doors align, right? All right, so we're gonna cut it, and we'll come back and do the back. All right, so it's been about an hour and a half, 2 hours. Um, so yeah, we can take these clamps off, do the back side. Now, something I want to show you real quick is I filled in these screw holes. Um, you may want to do that like right away. Once you get this cut apart, because it's easier to fill this now than it will be later after you take this boss off later. So just something to note there. All right, so that'll cure while I'm doing this. In fact, it'll probably be tomorrow when I do the last part of this video. All right, so now we are ready to do the back. All right, so something I am going to do before we get started. So I'm gonna mask this back patch off, especially where those these recesses are. I don't want to get anything in there. I can be a bit sloppy sometimes when I'm um using the slurry stuff. Here. I want to try to keep that level. All right, so now we're just gonna kind of set this to where you want it, to where it looks good. Basically, we're looking for the gap on the top, and then don't worry too much about this gap and the front gap. But before we get to gluing this in, we're gonna be doing some processing. We'll clean that edge up, and then you got to bobble the sides in so that the doors, when it sweeps in there, don't catch. Right? I don't remember which side I did. That's the side. But yeah, so um, once you got that, we're gonna kind of bring that tight, and then when you do put your magnets, the magnets like to pull the door. So we're gonna want to get all that set up first before we start trimming the doors and getting your door gaps set. But so we are pretty much ready to go now. I'm gonna do the inside first, right? So I'm just kind of letting it, kind of pushing that in so it sets on top of that right here. Of course, there's not enough light, but well, let's show you on the back side here. So I'm just kind of pushing that in so it's sitting on top of there. And now I'm gonna kind of go through here. Gotta get my brush pliable again. And then actually just so I'm gonna be going for the windshield to do this. I don't want that stuff dripping all over places I don't want it dripping. You can put it on this side so I can kind of bring it over. All right, so I got the inside done. Now I gotta do the cab floor side. get right in here. Of course, you're gonna do this in a couple steps. This is kind of like the fusion stage, but we're gonna fill in like all the holes, like these holes here, where the A pillars meet together, and then on the inside. Okay, so top on, set that aside. All right, so now take this off now. I didn't even need it. And I like that right there. So I'm gonna lock that in place with a clamp. You don't go too tight. You can still move it if you need. Do this side. That side's sort of set up pretty good too. Could use some hand clamps too. I really hate how that this scissors here. Actually, I ended up bringing it down just a little bit. This side almost needs to come up a little bit. I think that's good. So yeah, I'm gonna have to come back on and we'll conclude with gluing the firewall in and doing the front clip. And then that'll conclude the cab module. And then from there, then we'll move on and do the front clip, which will should be pretty easy. That that is one of my favorite parts about the kit now. So, anyways, we'll see you here in a bit. It'll be overnight for me.